The main character Henry Morgan begins his implausible story. Henry goes down to the subway and gets on the train. He sits down next to a girl and says good day to her in Russian. She wonders how he knew that she is Russian. He says he noticed a Russian chocolate smudge on her lips. Having quickly analyzed the girl, Henry guesses that she is going to the performance. She is impressed and calls him for a drink. When they are about to go out, unexpectedly an accident happens. Everyone around is dead except Henry. It all started 200 years ago. Aboard the ship, Henry was trying to protect his patient, but they were both thrown overboard. Something strange happened that night. He was transformed. From that moment on, he became immortal, so every time he would die he would reborn in water again. When he walks out of the police station, he begins to reflect on the opportunities that eternity gives. For Henry, the eternity is not really a blessing, but a curse. Abe is the only one who knows Henry's secret. In the meantime, after a night with a guy named Andre, Detective Martinez snuck off, but she took the wrong phone and Andre caught her, but she doesn't want to see him again and then leaves. Detective arrives on the scene. They tries to figure out what happened. Martinez picks up pretty old watches and it's still ticking. Indy on the scene thinks the conductor died of a heart attack before impact. Henry died in many different ways, but never died in a train crash, so Abe suggests to celebrate that. Each time after death, Henry assessed the pain level. Over the years, he has done research for scientific purposes. He needs to find a key to unlock his curse. Henry Morgan works for the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. Lucas, his assistant, he tells Henry that NYPD called asking for a cause of death on the train conductor, and Detective Joe Martinez personally came to find out. While Henry was checking conductor, he noticed a slight discoloration on Martinez's left ring finger, which means that either she divorced with him or he died. After examination, he diagnoses that the man was poisoned, but he'll need the tox report to confirm. At this point, he gets a call from a mysterious man who has been looking for someone like Henry for years.
Dr. Morgan, how did you survive that subway crash?
After this conversation, Henry felt he was in danger and immediately went to Abe to pack up and leave, cause staying in one place for too long is dangerous.
What we always do. Lay low, outlive him, move on.
Abe says that they won't run away anymore. They stay and find out who he is and what does he want. Abe also reminds him that he never let anyone get close to him since Abigail. After much deliberation, Henry agrees to stay and find the culprit. Meanwhile, Detective tries to find any clues and she sees in the video some guy who looks like Henry. She asks to stop and zoom in on the frame. Turns out it is Henry Morgan. At work, Henry finds an envelope addressed to him. He asks Lucas if he saw who brought it. Lucas says that only a hot cop from yesterday came in the morning. There was a picture in the envelope from 1955 with her lover Abigail. As soon as the man's memories of the time he was dancing with her came to mind, he was interrupted by Lucas. He picks up a newspaper clipping which made Henry nervous. There is an inscription Henry Morgan, QED quod erat demonstrandum, it means, which was to be demonstrated. It's used in mathematical proofs. All this message from Mystery Man. He killed the conductor to prove Henry's eternity. So Henry needs to figure out what kind of poison he used to kill the conductor. He borrows a bit of his blood. As the main character is not afraid of death, he asks Abe to give him an injection to recognize the type of poison on himself. He finds himself naked in the water as usual and manages to find out that it was really poison, aconite, the queen of poisons. On their way back, they find that their store is surrounded by police. Martinez tells Henry that they found his secret laboratory with a fairly strange collection of things. Henry says he was on the train that day and doesn't deny that he may be guilty. Detective supposes that this is a confession, but she can't understand his motive and thinks that the real killer is still out there. She lets him go. With Lucas, he tries to find an entry point where the killer had injected him. There is a fingerprint behind his ear. He brings it to Martinez to run it through the system. Then they arrive to the place where the culprit lives and Dr. Morgan immediately finds the place where the poison was made. As they were searching the lab, suddenly the door opens and they see the culprit. Detective tries to neutralize him, but he throws some poison to her and runs away. Turns out that man is a chemist who avenged his wife who died cause of conductor. But Morgan doesn't believe in that. He assumes that Kohler's motive is more than just revenge. Turns out he was right. The police found traces of ethanol. Kohler wanted to make it soluble to produce a mass quantity because he's looking for a bigger audience. They also found schematics depicting a fish. Henry remembers that the zodiac is painted upside down on the ceiling of Grand Central, so they go there immediately. Detective Joe Martinez and Dr. Morgan goes up on the roof where they meet Kohler again. He shoots the lady. Henry tries to protect her and tells Kohler that by killing these innocent people is not gonna return his wife back, but he didn't change his mind. They fight and both fell off that roof. Joe Martinez wake up in the hospital. She is okay. Henry informs that they have prevented something terrible from happening. Henry gets a call. It's still that mystery man who knows his secret. Now he tells Henry that they are the same. They share the same pain and same curse.
We've got eternity together.
Walking down a hospital corridor, Henry remembers his past when he was a doctor during the war, and that's when he first met his love Abigail. She was carrying a baby in her hands. A baby also has a mark on his right hand, and here we find out that this baby is Abe, who since that time has always been with Henry. At the end of first episode, Martinez was in the neighborhood and she decided to pop in and return Henry's watches because she thought that it's pretty valuable for him.
It is. Thank you.
She also asks for his help with her job, and of course he agrees to go with her. If you like the recap and would like me to do a recap of the next episodes, please let me know it in the comments.